State prosecutors are looking into a possible offer a new Hanover County Commissioner made to a nonprofit in Wilmington to stay quiet. It all started over who would manage the new treatment facility known as the Healing Place.
The president of Coastal Horizon says Commissioner Julia Olsen-Boseman offered them $50 million to stop talking about it. It's a conversation that happened 2 years ago. I sat down with Margaret Weller-Stargell to find out why it's coming to light now.
The goal is for the truth to be known, that yes, Coastal Horizons was used in this process.
President and CEO of Coastal Horizons, Margaret Weller-Stargell, says this process started in 2019.
When the county and Trillium Health Resources made the decision to go to City Council to request a special use permit so that they could build a treatment facility on Medical Center Drive.
Weller-Stargell says Coastal Horizons, a nonprofit substance abuse treatment facility in Wilmington, was presented as the intended operator of the new facility.
The special use permit was approved, and I'm confident that it was approved in part because Coastal Horizons was presented as the intended operator.
Then she says they were asked to go visit the Healing Place in Louisville, Kentucky to see its model, a model that does not use medication for treatment.
Our clinical director, Kenny House, spoke very much to the concerns of there not being medication-assisted treatment as part of the treatment modalities that would be offered with this facility, particularly given the prevalence of opioid use dependency in our community.
That's when things started to change. Weller-Stargell says on May 8, 2020, she received a phone call from county staff.
The courtesy call, she said, to let me know that the county and Trillium would be proceeding with the Healing Place as the operator, the company based out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Weller-Stargell says on July 1st, 2020, she met with Commissioner Julia Olsen-Boseman and then Commissioner Patricia Cusick.
And that was when it was first stated to me Coastal Horizons would be given or could be given $50 million from the proceeds from the sale of the hospital and build our own facility that would allow for other treatment.
She says it was intended to be an exchange for silence.
You take the $50 million and build and do what you want, but we need you to stop making an issue of the Healing Place going forward.
That's why she called a second meeting with Coastal Horizons Board of Trustees chair at the time, Andy Jones.
Commissioner Olsen-Boseman reiterated her offer for the $50 million hospital proceeds set aside, or which were to be set aside for mental health treatment services. She offered that to Coastal Horizons again in that meeting.
Jones and Weller-Stargell say there was no deal.
We were surprised by Commissioner Olsen-Boseman's offer to us. Our position was not for sale, so it did not appear appropriate to us and does not appear appropriate to me still to this day.
Part of the problem, the vote to sell the hospital hadn't even taken place yet. This meeting happened in July of 2020. The vote to sell the hospital happened in October of 2020. But the other problem?
First of all, it's unethical. Secondly, we weren't going to make a deal like that. That's not what Coastal Horizons does.
Weller-Stargell says she's continued to talk about the issue for the last 2 years. So why is it just now coming to light?
I've had these communications all along. The communication that went out to County Manager Chris Coudray last week copied both the county commissioners and the city council members. And in doing so, it goes on a public server, and then you, the media, have access to it. And so that's how it became public.
WWAY has since obtained that email Weller-Stargell sent to county and city leaders on August 25th. And the responses. Commissioner Olsen-Boseman responded and said, quote, "That isn't true, Margaret. We never ever said you would receive $50 million. You are lying to everyone." County Manager Chris Coudray responded saying in part, quote, "I had been informed of these allegations by Ms. Margaret Weller-Stargell, but there was never any evidence shared with me to confirm that something like that occurred." Weller-Stargell's response?
I stand by Coastal Horizons and the integrity of this organization that has been around for 52 years.
And after 52 years of serving and treating this community, Weller-Stargell says the community should know what's been going on for the last 2 years.
This is just a continuation of how horrific this process has been, and what truly, in the end, has been a disservice to this community.
I reached out to Commissioner Julia Olsen-Boseman and Patricia Cusack for interviews. Olsen-Boseman responded and said, quote, "I'm hiring an attorney, so I will not be making any other public statements." Cusack has not responded. District Attorney Ben David's office responded, saying the news story regarding the latest revelations about Ms. Boseman was forwarded to the prosecutor at the Conference of District Attorneys who is handling this matter. For more on this story and the full statements, we will have those posted on our website at WAYTV3.com.